So last night, the Ottawa Senators fell 3-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a game which they probably did not deserve to win. Notes in this one for Toronto: Justin Holl is out, Jack Campbell's in the net, Timothy Liljegren comes in for Justin Holl on the back end. The Leafs also had a backup goaltender, Alex Bishop, who backed up for them yesterday because they couldn't call up a backup goalie. They couldn't call up Michael Hutchinson from the minors because they had no cap space. And for Ottawa, everything stays exactly the same from opening night. So as soon as the puck dropped on this one, the Leafs were very determined to have a much better start than they've had their first two games of the season, and that really showed, and they would get rewarded for it as 2:12 in, Wayne Simmonds parked in front of the net, chips one home past Anton Forsberg to make it 1-0 Toronto. The assists go to Rasmus Sandin and Travis Dermott. Sandin made a really nice play to come in off the blue line, kind of create confusion in Ottawa's coverage, and then he finds Simmonds in front of the net. The Sens need to find a way to cover the front of their net better, because there's no way Toronto should have two guys there and Ottawa should only have one. The Leafs would continue their strong play as Alexander Kerfoot would score on his first shot of the season, assisted by William Nylander and Michael Bunting. And this goal was the epitome of something that I believe has been plaguing the Sens the last couple of years now. Even though DJ Smith employs an okay structure, I think he could be a little bit better, definitely, because the Sens on this play, three guys go to William Nylander in the corner. And yes, Nylander's a dangerous player, but not really from the corner, right? And they leave Alexander Kerfoot all alone in front by the time I believe Nick Paul and Connor Brown get there, the wingers. It's too late, the puck's in the back of the net. That should have never happened, though, if the Sens have a guy already camped out in front of their net, guarding Kerfoot and not allowing him to get that free shot. So the moral of the story is, don't over pursue the puck in your own zone. Leafs would get a power play in that first period. The Sens would kill it off, but they would have to hang on for like the final minute of that first period, as the Leafs had momentum after the power play. They were all over the Sens. Forsberg had to come up and make some big saves once again. But Ottawa, they miraculously hang on and get to the first intermission down only 2-0. And the shots were only 8-6 for Toronto in that first period, but it felt like it could have been a lot more. So we go to the second period, and the Sens, they're kind of having some trouble breaking out of their zone once again. And Mitch Marner finds John Tavares all alone in the slot. He goes forehand, backhand. I thought this was going to be a sure goal, but Anton Forsberg robs him with the glove. John Tavares, still seeking his first goal of the season, had to be ultra frustrated seeing that. Then shortly after that, the Sens put themselves in a predicament which could have ended the game for them in the middle of the second period. They go down 5-on-3. Parker Kelly takes a high sticking penalty on Jake Mazen. Nikita Zaitsev, on that ensuing penalty kill, trips up Michael Bunting, and it's a 5-on-3. The Sens survive it somehow. They kill it off. I thought they did a pretty good job of killing off that 5-on-3 as well. For a team that I've been hard on about their penalty killing, the penalty kill looked pretty darn good yesterday. And they always say your goaltender's got to be your best penalty killer, and Forsberg was that once again for them. And then the Sens would get a power play of their own, and just under 2.5 minutes to go in the second period, Drake Batherson finds Josh Norris, who patiently waits out Jack Campbell because he's got time and space, so good move by Norris there. He finds the 5-hole on Campbell and cuts the Leafs lead in half. Drake Batherson made an awesome pass on that play through all the Leaf defenders, but I want to point out a play Tyler Ennis made. He fought off, I forget who it was for Toronto, one of their defenders, but he did some really good work to make that puck come loose for Drake Batherson, and he finds Norris, like I said, and he buries it. And Ennis is not a big guy, but he has a lot of heart, and he plays way bigger than he is, and that's why he wins a lot more battles than I think people expect him to. The Sens did have some other chances in that second period as well. Tim Stootzell had a partial breakaway on Jack Campbell. It was a weird play because Stootzell had one hand on the puck, or one hand on his stick, I should say, and he kind of chipped it towards goal, but because Campbell had his stick out and he had the poke check going, it rode up his stick and hit the post, so Jack Campbell was almost the maker of his own demise on that play. Drake Batherson is sprung on a breakaway all alone with just under 10 seconds left. He comes in, he makes a diving play to get the puck on goal. It comes off of Campbell, it goes off of Drake Batherson's shin pads and into the net. The Sens tie it up at 2. Batherson's fired up, but there's one problem with this situation though. The Leafs, Sheldon Keefe challenges the call. The referees look at it, the play's offside. It's no goal. It was offside by I don't know, maybe an inch, maybe 2 inches at the most. I don't know. It was very close nonetheless. but it was offside. It was the right call. It's still 2-1 Toronto. And I don't know, maybe they could have just counted it because Drake Batherson worked so hard to get that goal. But unfortunately, that's not how the league works. So then we go to the third period, and to be honest, in that third period, I was really disappointed with the Sens' lack of offensive production. They only had 5 shots in that third. Toronto didn't have a lot either, but the Leafs were the team who was holding the lead. So as a team that's trailing, like Ottawa was, you would expect them to have more pucks on net and more pressure in the Toronto zone. And while they did have a couple good shifts in the Leafs zone in that third period and kind of put the pressure on them, it really wasn't enough, and it wasn't nowhere near as much as I would have hoped for. 7:57 into that third period, Michael Bunting comes in on a partial 2-on-1. Victor Mete actually does get back to even the numbers up, but he kind of overshoots Bunting. He over-back checks. Bunting stops up on him. Mete stops as well. Unfortunately, Mete was a little bit behind the play. Tyler Ennis tries to get back to cut off that play, but it's too late as Michael Bunting fires home actually a pretty decent wrist shot past Anton Forsberg to make it 3-1 Toronto. Alexander Kerfoot and Timothy Liljegren would pick up assists on that play. So for Kerfoot, a guy who's been talked a lot about for maybe not being that noticeable the first 2 games, he picks up a goal and an assist in this one. And then the Sens pull the goalie with about 2.5 to go, trying to get a goal to get within 1 at least here and then maybe even tie it up. But that would not happen. The Leafs hang on to win this one 3-1. The Sens, like I said, only 5 shots in that third period, so that's not good. I just want to point out, with like 10 seconds to go, Mitch Marner and John Tavares were trying so hard to get the zeros off the board for them in terms of goals. And Marner and Tavares, they just couldn't buy one there. The Sens did a really good job of keeping the puck out of the net, playing goalie, the players playing goalie, and blocking the shots. And Mitch Marner and John Tavares, you could tell they were really frustrated after that. But if you're them, hey, you get the win and live to fight another day. I'm sure they will score at some point this year. I'm willing to bet on that. Now, Nikita Zaitsev, I want to touch on him for a little bit, and Victor Mete as well. Those 2 guys, it's no secret, they had a rough night. And the analytics community has been railing against Nikita Zaitsev, saying, you know, get rid of this guy, stuff like that. A lot of the Sens fans that are into analytics. I'm going to come out and say this. I like analytics. I think they have their place. I'm not like Pierre Maguire, where, you know, he's looked at as a guy who abhors analytics, even though he says he doesn't. I do believe in the eye test as well. But Zaitsev, I mean, yeah, some of the underlying numbers, they're not great, obviously. Would I take Nikita Zaitsev on my back end if I'm building a team? Yes, I would. Would I want him on my first or second pairing? Probably not. So the Sens take on the Dallas Stars at 5 o'clock. It's the only game on in the NHL. They have a chance to redeem themselves. I'm willing to bet that probably Victor Mete is the guy who comes out on the back end, and we're going to see Michael Del Zotto make his Ottawa Senators debut. So there's my thoughts on the game. Please let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Also, please like and subscribe and share this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.